nipple. Welcome to the 1000th video on this channel. Holy crap! And by popular demand, you wanted it to be a Life of Chay in a suit with a top hat on. So here I am, even though my top hat does not match my spectacular, by the way, my spectacular royal blue three-piece suit with red tie and white shirt and little white thing here as well, it is still bloody brilliant. No lord would be correct without an incorrect, non-matching kind of attire going on here. So, without further ado, let's get into this, shall we? Now, as you wanted to see a history of myself, I had to go digging into the archives of the world to try and find as much information as I physically could and cram it into a small video as I physically could. Now that was difficult, however, I have unearthed a certain legendary relic, which is no one ever speaks of it, it's that legendary. No one knows what it is that legendary. The only people who have ever heard of it are those that have heard of it. A little bit like the island on Pirates of the Caribbean. The only people who know where it is are those who have already been there. And just like that, I discovered the location of this certain item, and it is known simply as the Book of Chay. I had to enlist the help of my very good friend Edward Bay, and we found ourselves the Book of Chay. And here it is, the book passed down from generation to generation of Chay is here in my hands. This, indeed, is a very old book. So old, in fact. It's one of those books that when you open them, it has got a clasp thing. Mental. When you open it, the dust has to be blown from the pages. It's that old, guys. It is that old. In fact, it's so old, there's even more dust. I think I got it. Now, the Book of Chay contains every single item ever recorded of anyone who goes by the name of Chay. And our story begins, well, not very far in all fairness, but it begins on one of the many pages of this booklet. And we will find it on page 224. Page 224. Now gather round, all of those who would listen, because we now have an epic story of epic proportions to tell you. Chapter 1. Genesis. And the Lord did say, bringeth to the world the most amazing, fantastical person ever conceived, and he shall be known simply as Chay, sometimes Chayification. But yes, this is the beginning of the story of Chay. The day is the 24th of April, 1999, and at approximately 5 p.m.-ish, give or take about 30 minutes or so, the one and only Chay was born onto this world. Ironically enough, his sister was born the day before, 6 years prior to that, so, perfect timing, might I add, on the behalf of that particular Chay, myself. I realised simply that it was a little bit rude to appear the same day as my sister, being on the 23rd of April, 6 years prior she was born. So I decided, no, I will make an entrance. I will give her own day, and I will take my own day of the 24th. The most brilliant number in the world ever. And thus it came to be that Chay was born on the 24th of April, 1991. Also known now and forevermore from that day as Chay Day. It's a brilliant day actually, Chay Day. I really enjoy Chay Days, they're very, very good. Chay's life was a simple one. Quite ironically, the next page is actually another Book of the Kings. Chay's young childhood was a simple childhood. He enjoyed playing with Lego, as every child does. Playing outside, as every child does. Well, when I was younger they did anyway. Playing outside in what is known as the spinny. Now if you don't know what a spinny is, guys, a spinny is a thing which is smaller than a wood, but bigger than a collection of trees. It's kind of like it's a thing. And what this one was in, it was in an old quarry as far as I was aware, which was a large crater type thing in the ground, which I practically lived in. It was ridiculous. I was there every single weekend playing down in the spinny, building dens, playing with sticks, doing all kinds of crazy stuff that a young child does do. And it was good. It was very good. Chay's life was so action-packed and adventurous. In fact, he did not really notice the clawing urge to play video games. He had a Sega Master System, built in with Alex the Kid, by the way. He had an N64 to follow with GoldenEye on it, which was the best, it probably still is, the best shooter in the world. He also eventually got a PlayStation 1, to which his first game was Worms. Worms! Still such an amazing game. I love Worms. Not the bodily ones, but the ones in which you get to shoot bazookas and all kinds of crazy crap, and the banana bombs and one another. Absolutely fantastic, by the way. Bloody brilliant game. His first dabbling in PC games was actually The Settlers with one of his friends known as Jeffrey. This was one of the first games in which he actually played on the PC. Nowadays, his most favourite type of gaming indeed. However, this moved swiftly on to the PlayStation 2, which he actually won, which was mental back in the day to win something like that. And the way in which he did it was with a school competition at his primary school. Ooh. Now the real question here is, have you ever heard of the thing called Ebbly? Probably not, because nobody ever has. Now this thing was something which, it's like a wheat kind of substitute pasta thing, it's weird. But basically we had a school newspaper that went round, and the competition was to design a recipe for Ebbly. Now at the time, Chay really wanted to be a chef. Not so much anymore, but this was something that he decided, you know what, I'm going to do that. I will place a recipe, and we had like a seafood Ebbly, and it was called the seafood Ebbly or something, I don't really remember. I came second! First prize was a full new catering equipment for your school, plus for the winner, PlayStation 2. I came second and won a PlayStation 2, which was fantastic, and I became the most popular person for a short period of time in the primary school, because everyone was like, I want to play on your PlayStation, let me come and play on your PlayStation. And you're like, no! Bugger off! At this point, Chay then decided he wanted to be a bit more of a gamer, and specifically played a lot of Dynasty Warriors 3, which at the time was fantastic. He then moved on to getting a PlayStation 3, which he bought primarily with his own money, but trading in his PS2 after buying a PS2 Slim, might add, which were freaking tiny. But he went and got one of them and got a PS3, the original 60GB backwards compatible ones, which I still have to this day, however it doesn't really work. Needs fixing. Interesting. As you all know, the ownership of the PlayStation series would stay PlayStation and would go on to owning a PS4, which he currently owns. And loves, by the way, which I actually need to upgrade very soon and make it a Pro. And also getting PlayStation VR. Oh, it's getting exciting in the gaming world. We are about halfway through this lovely story, this brief story of the story of Chay. Now, where were we? Oh yes, PlayStation 4. Now what this would go on to do, before this anyway, he decided, well, let's backtrack a little bit. His PlayStation 3 days of owning a PlayStation 3 would push him into the gaming world on PC, to which he would build not one, not two, but 3 new systems for himself over the course of his life so far, with various different things in. And this would spawn the love and passion that is his YouTube channel, where you're watching this right about now.
god, this book is so bloody huge.
Which is broadcast from this very position right here. As you can see, PC, there's a microphone up there and all this kind of stuff. So this is where this is where it all started. It actually started at my mum's house back in the day when I was playing Team Fortress 2. And since then, we moved from Team Fortress 2 to Skyrim to some various other bits and bobs, and currently we're kind of floating around doing random crap. But this is number 1000, which is insane. Bloody mental.
Nice page, please.
But I don't need to go on about YouTube because you already know about all of that. The next part of Chay's life is actually quite a sad one. Now, when he was 16, unfortunately, his father was diagnosed with terminal cancer, which, might I add, is a bitch. Okay, now, I can sympathise with anyone who's going through the whole shit that is cancer, whether or not it's with yourself, whether or not it's with one of your family members or whatever. And the only reason that I can not essentially laugh and joke about it, to an extent, is because I've been through it, and I've experienced it, and I've come to terms with that kind of part of my life right about now. So, I said I don't talk about it very often, but I will give you a brief overview now, guys, because, you know, I love you guys, and you guys are my family, and it's just one of those things that happens in people's lives, and it fucking sucks. It really does. So if any of you guys ever need any cheering up when it comes to that, please feel free to drop me a message or whatever, I might be able to help. Anyway, moving on. It was an unfortunate period of time when my dad was diagnosed with terminal cancer. Now, unfortunately, from the moment he was diagnosed, he was given about a year, and more or less, the doctors were pretty much bang on, and he sadly passed away in September when I was 17. Now, this was very, very difficult for me. This happened right at the end of my school life, right before I passed my driving test, just like 2 months later. I never got to do the whole sharing your beer with your dad and all this kind of stuff. So it was a very, very difficult period of my life, and I'm not going to go too far into it, but it freaking sucked, okay? It put a point in my life where I didn't know what to do. It didn't really... I'd done most of my exams and stuff like that by then, so it didn't affect me that much. It did, but it didn't that much. But I didn't go to uni straight away. Now, I was 18, I finished my life at school, just as I was, you know, a couple of 6 months into my 18th birthday, and I just kind of didn't really do anything for a little while. I did my kind of YouTube stuff, I just kind of enjoyed not having to go anywhere, but it got to the point where I thought, you know, I kind of need a job. I need to earn money, and I actually got a job at a casino, which is an interesting fact. This is why I dress so perfectly fantastically, because I used to work on them. I used to work in a casino in Northampton, which if some of you guys are old subscribers, you would know some of the vlogs I did, which I'm often to and from where I work. Now, this was interesting, lasted about a year and a half. At this point, I was probably around 19, so just before my 21st birthday, I think it was, I suddenly decided to go to, excuse me a second, next page, university, which was bloody brilliant, and that was possibly one of the best periods of my life. Now, what I did a degree in, you just stay there because you're massive and you're ridiculous. I did a degree in media production, okay, which, you know, was something that I really enjoy doing. Is obviously because I have a YouTube channel and whatnot. The only thing, guys, when I say something about going to university, go and do what you want to do. Don't go and do what your mum wants you to do, what your dad wants you to do, what you think you should go and do, or what you believe, oh, you know, I can't go and do something I'm going to enjoy, I need to go and do something which is, you know, I'm going to get a job out of. Which is fair enough. If you want to do that, go and do that. I would not recommend it. I would recommend you go to university and study something which you love. The reason being is because I've had so many of my friends say, oh god, Chay, I wish I'd done what you did and gone and done something which you actually enjoyed, as opposed to just going and doing like business management or law or whatever. If you want to be a lawyer, go and do law. If you want to be a business manager, you don't need a degree to be a business manager, okay? You can go and get that just by working in a place. I personally would recommend that you go and do something which you want to do. That's what I did. And when you come out of it, if you get a job, brilliant. If you don't, it's not the end of the world. There's plenty of places that are going to hire you for skills that you've done in that. And nowadays, if anything, it's more who you know as opposed to what you know, because a lot of people have degrees nowadays and it's quite difficult to get into somewhere. I would just personally recommend, as opposed to going and probably being miserable for 4 or 5 years of your life, go and do something you enjoy and that you can throw yourself in and you have a passion for. Go and do that. It pulls you out of a horrible rut. You think to yourself, oh, I'm actually really enjoying this, and it sets you up for something a little bit further in life that you may end up getting. Don't just dwell on the fact that you've got a degree in something and you're not necessarily working in it. I have a degree in media production. I don't work in a media thing. I do YouTube stuff, which is the media side of things, but my actual job is software support. I don't do anything to do with that at all. I'm applying for other places, but you know, whatever. But yeah, go and do something you enjoy, guys. Don't just dwell on the fact that you need to go and get a job somewhere. Yes, a job helps, but it's not the be-all and end-all. You can still enjoy your life doing whatever it is you want to do. And that brings us up to today, while I'm sat right in front of you with this exceedingly large book of Chay, and I'm talking to you in a blue fricking suit, 3-piece suit for that, a red tie, and a discoloured top hat. Yeah. And even though this video has been quite brief and quite all over the place, it is essentially the life of Chay. I was born, I enjoyed my childhood very, very much so. I was out playing outside every single day, I learned all that kind of crap. Outside is where I love. Outside is fantastic, okay? It's brilliant out there. If you've not been out there yet, I would highly recommend it. There's a lot going on. It's crazy. Especially in the countryside or in a wood or something like that. It's bloody mental. Anyway, I did all that. I did all the gaming side of stuff when I was younger. I've grown up on YouTube. I've been on it for 5 years now. 5 years! I'd love to have more subscribers, but I've still loved every single moment of it. We've had our ups and downs. We've had the Chayification phase, which is still known as Chayification. We've got the Chay phase currently going on, and everything like that. So I hope you enjoyed this video, guys. I know it was very, very brief. It was very, very kind of skimmed over it. I didn't want to have a really long video for you guys to sit and be like, what the frickin' hell is this guy going on about? I just wanted it to be easy, quick, and fast for you guys. I think I covered all the main kind of points in this which I wanted to cover. But yes, I hope you did enjoy this video. And I really do hope you continue to watch the Chay channel. If you haven't already subscribed, then please subscribe. Make sure you do and give us a good old-fashioned like rating as well. And jump down in the comments below. Anything you want to talk about. If you want to talk about the horrible things in life, feel free. If you want to talk about the good things in life, feel free as well. I've entered the lottery to win 130 million. Would be brilliant if I did it. If I did, this would become a vlogging channel of the various madness that I've been spending money on. But that's not going to happen, so I wouldn't worry too much about that. But I do thank you very, very much for watching, guys, and I hope for the next 1,000 videos you do enjoy yourselves here on the channel. So I do thank you very, very much for watching, and I am going to go and put this back in the museum from where I stole it from originally. And I will see you when I see you. When I see you, when I see you. To the friggin' friends, onwards and back into the land of the Chay and all this kind of crap. La 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 doo. But I didn't realise at first, I thought there was an overlap that kind of looked a bit dodgy. But it looks fine, actually. I'm quite pleased with that. So what we need to do is, so the front of this thing has this, it almost looks like a balcony or a place where you could kind of stand. And it has these kind of archways with like a backing thing onto it. So I'm not sure, I mean, when I actually build the